What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome to my second UCL team building video. You hopefully saw last week's match and realized it's an interesting format. You use a whole bunch of Pokemon from different tiers, and they all come together to make a coherent team to deal with the opponent's team. So as you can see over on the left, again, we have all of my Pokemon, and on the right we have all of his Pokemon. I'm going to be going up against Alif. I actually don't remember. It's I think Selangor Staraptors is the team name, technically. Oh yeah, again, of course, Chicago Muse here. But anyways, looking at his team, first of all, Megmanectric, huge threat. I don't have a ton of Pokemon on my team that can tank the special attacking hits, and because it gets, Hidden Power Ice, Thunderbolt, Overheat, it can do a lot of damage to a lot of Pokemon on my team. So I was pretty worried about that. Also, Mew. Mew is just super versatile, so I don't know if he's going to run a bulky or defog set, given that it's one of his only forms of defog. I expect that. He's also got Honchkrow for defog, but I'm not really sure if he's going to want to do that, because Honchkrow doesn't really run an effective defensive set. But he could also be like Expert Belt Mew, which is pretty scary, to be honest. Then Ferrothorn, super defensive wall, but I've got Heatran, and I've got things that can run Fire Blast, so I'm not too worried about it. Darmanitan, I think he's probably going to run Scarf, if anything. Reuniclus is so bulky, and Honchkrow, Ambipom, Honchkrow and Ambipom are his only forms of priority, so that's worth noting. Smeargle, you just never know what it's going to do, but if he does bring it, it's probably just a Suicide lead or a Scarf lead, something like that to get off his sleep, which would be really annoying, but it's beatable. And Quagsire, and he might bring it in case he expects a Dragon Dance sweep or something like that, because Quagsire's unaware, negates stat boost. Barbaracle, I know he loves Barbaracle, so he's probably going to bring it. And it's also really strong. It's really scary because it has access to Shell Smash, and that's one of the things I prepared for the most. Its move pool is also really diverse. It gets access to Razor Shell, Stone Edge, Shadow Claw, Poison Jab, what else? Brick Break slash... other things. It gets Tough Claws boosted, and after a Shell Smash, it can do a ton of damage, and you can hit my Altaria super effectively, and etc. Victory Bell, I'm not too worried about, but it's got some offensive presence. Mr. Mime, generally, Calm Mindset. Ninjask, I can't really see it doing much other than, sacrificing itself for, a final gambit, and Gourgeist, I really wasn't sure how to prepare for. So, those are my thoughts on his team initially. And like I said, I told you what I thought the biggest threats were. So we're going to start off with good old Hitmonlee. We got Hochizorarin, and I was debating between a normal gem Unburden set where I'd have Fake Out, and then after Unburden I would be double speed. But if I switch out after doing that, which he might force me to do with by switching back and forth between Ambipom and Honchkrow and priority moves, I would lose that speed boost. So I ended up deciding on Choice Scarf, which outspeeds everything on his team unboosted, and puts in a ton of work. It's also my only form of hazard control, which is really important because you'll see I have Shedinja on this team. So close combat, high jump kick, close combat's for if I need some accuracy, and then knock off to hit Mew and Reuniclus and just about anything that wants to come in on this, because it puts in a lot of damage. But it is, again, a glass cannon, so I have to be very careful with it. Next up, we got Nishikino Maki, or my Lipard, which is bulkier. Lipard, well, not bulkier from an EV standpoint, but it's got leftovers so that it's passively recovering each time it turns in. It can take more switches into hazards because this thing is super frail, but it's kind of a more utility sort of annoying set. It runs Dark Pulse, and I've got Nasty Plot, so that if he switches out, this could be a potential Reuniclus counter or a Mew counter, put in some damage, because it does have a bit of a special attacking presence, but more importantly, it's there to prevent setting up. If he brings in Barbaracle and wants to Shell Smash, I can switch this in and Encore him into Shell Smash, and then Nasty Plot up and Dark Pulse or whatnot. Whole bunch of different things I can do, and if he decides to Brick Break, then he doesn't Shell Smash, and I bring my Hitmonlee, and I can Choice Scarf, Close Combat, Oko him, or something like that. So yeah, it'll be really helpful. It'll help him from, or keep him from going for defog, or if he brings Smeargle, I could lead off with Lipard and then copycat whatever moves he goes for, so Sticky Web or something like that to get on my hazards a lot more easily. So yeah, it's another utility mon. Then we got Kosuka Honaka, Heatran, we saw last week. Definitely bulky, 100% special defense now. And the bulk, I forget what the speed is. The speed is to just barely outrun his Mew so that I can't get taunted by it, and I can trap it with Magma Storm or Toxic it and taunt it first. So this is almost dedicated exclusively to beating his Mew, his Ferrothorn, and his Registeel. because Registeel is super bulky, and if he's running a Rest Curse set, this will be able to beat it with Magma Storm, Trap It, Taunt It even. And this is also my form of getting up rocks, because it does force a good amount of switches. It can also switch in on Mega Manectric, which is pretty important, and or at least like threaten him with Earth Power, even though it technically doesn't have it. So then we got Ayase Elite, my Mega Altaria. Totally different set this time though. I'm running a defensive special attacking set where I've put a ton of investment into special defense so that I can tank, I think I'm going to take like around 30% max from an HP Ice from Mega Manectric. So I'm really bulky on that sense. I can roost even on critical hits. I can also hit back pretty hard with Hyper Voice and Fire Blast. I think Fire Blast does around 80% to Ferrothorn, and I do get walled by Registeel though, which is kind of problematic. But what's really important to this set is Cotton Guard, because after a Cotton Guard, I don't think I take more than 30% from any move on his team. I think a Poison Jab after a Shell Smash does like 30 or 40% after I've Cotton Guarded once. So yeah, if I can get up a Cotton Guard, it'll be really good, at least assuming Quagsire is gone and Registeel is gone, because those would be kind of problematic. Also, Victory Bell kind of threatens this with Sludge Bomb, which is also why Heatran's here, so that's worth noting. And then, of course, Yasuo and Nico, my Jirachi. It's got leftovers. I'm running a much bulkier set, no Choice Scarf, and you'll notice it's interesting. So I'm running Iron Head and Thunder Wave. This is kind of like a last resort. So I put a lot into defense so that if he gets a Shell Smash up with Barbaracle or some other physical attacker, I can actually take one Razor Shell or something like that. Maybe if he brings Nightclaw, he'll take out my Jirachi, but if he brings Nightclaw, he won't have Poison Jab, and so my Mega Altaria can take him on. So like between the two of them, they can take on Barbaracle after a Shell Smash if I let him get a Shell Smash up. And so then I can Thunder Wave him, Iron Head. This is also a bit of my Reuniclus check, which I do have a problem with. So I can Thunder Wave, Iron Head, you know, get some damage off that way. And if he wants to bring in Quagsire on this, go for Earthquakes and such, I take those like a champ, and I almost OHKO with Energy Ball, even though I'm minus special attack. And for the sake of easing prediction or wanting to mess around with hacks, if he's paralyzed, I can go around with substitutes until I get a substitute up, and then Iron Head flinch and such. This could be really annoying, really hacksy, but it might be what I need. And so lastly, I was really torn as to which Pokemon I should use for my last one, but I ended up deciding on Shedinja because this thing, as long as I keep hazards off, that is the key here. I need to keep hazards away. Puts in a lot of work against Honchkrow and Reuniclus, which are two problematic Pokemon for the rest of my team. They do a ton of damage to everything else. And Honchkrow can hit Shedinja, but we also play like Sucker Punch, Brave Bird, Mind Games, and I can also Shadow Sneak for damage. So this is also a form of priority I have, which is really nice. Against Reuniclus can't touch this. If you don't know what Wonder Guard does, only super effective moves damage Shedinja, and passive moves like Will-O-Wisp, Leech Seed, or something like that. And so, because it only has 1 HP, and yeah, Reuniclus takes around 50% from an X-Scissor, so I can SD up on that. I can also Baton Pass to scout for which Pokemon on his team have moves that can deal damage to my Shedinja. I can also Baton Pass Swords Dances to Pokemon like my Jirachi or my Hitmonlee. And, you know, Swords Dance Shadow Sneak is a solid, like, sweeping option. It's pretty slow, Shedinja, so it's not like I can beat out his Honchkrow or Ambipom. Well, actually, I can beat out his Ambipom. But, yeah, that's about it. Also, defensive Altaria takes like nothing from Ambipom. Ambipom fake outs could get really annoying, but Jirachi also deals with them pretty well. And I've got my Calyxel ready to go, so it should be good. I'm looking forward to the battle, and we'll see. You never know what he's going to bring, of course, because he's trying to build for my team. And it should be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are excited to take a look at it when I do finally upload that battle. But until then, this has been Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.